hot day up on the third floor. Absolutely, I have to do this today. It's got to be done. There's 3 batches of paper that have to go out to printers this morning, or this afternoon. Well, no, 3 batches of paper that have to be shipped tomorrow, which means I have to do the sizing this morning. So here we go. Actually, I'll be doing this pretty much all day today. So we're just going to see, one batch here this morning. The first batch you're going to see is I'm doing sheets for the next version of the Great Wave, the next iteration of the Great Wave. And these are going to go to a new printer. We've had so far 3 printers work on the Wave. Numabe Shinkichi did it first for us, some of the Kickstarter prints. We then moved on to Kubota Kenichi, who finished off the Kickstarter campaign for us and then has been doing it since then. And his apprentice Yamamoto Shun has been doing most of the Great Waves now for the past 2 years. And it's not that he's tired of it, but we want to rotate into somebody else. And our printer Chiharu Kanai is waiting. She's standing by, and it's supposed to arrive at her place Monday morning. So I've got to do the sizing here now today. There's a camera missing. I was struggling in time here to get up here this morning, so I brought one camera with me. It's enough to see what's going on. I didn't bring the second camera that shows the side view. I'm sorry. Lazy, I don't know. Just too much going on. Okay, the microphone's in front of me here, but I've got to do some cooking. I've got to switch around now and do some cooking. It'll take me 4 or 5 minutes. During that time, I can't see the chat, and the microphone is quite a distance. So whatever, I'll do the cooking first and I'll come back here. Those of you who know what's going on can help explain to others. It's 2 liters today. 2 liters of water is the goal. I put 1 liter last night to soak the Mikawa and put in the 2nd liter this morning. 500 cc's is here, heating up to boiling, and 1.5 liters is here with the slowly melting glue. The alum is going to go in the boiling water when it gets to that point in a minute. I guess it would help if I put this camera off just for a minute here. put the glue in last night to soak before I went to bed. If I hadn't done that, if I was just dumping it in now, it would be difficult to get it to melt smoothly. It would take 20, 25, 30 minutes. The alum, it's totally transparent once it goes in the water, so you can't tell by looking at it if it's dissolved or not. But because it's granules, they stick to the bottom of the pan, so I can still feel a couple of the granules. I've turned the heat off now, it's just a hot pan, there's no actual heat there. As soon as I feel it smooth, no granules left, it's dissolved, so in she goes. The reason for doing it separately is the alum dissolves really quickly at a high heat, 90, 95, 100. But I don't want to have the glue heated that much. It breaks it down too much. And I don't know the chemistry, if they dissolve separately. When you mix them together, are they really mixed, or should they have been dissolved together in the same water? I don't know. But it works. We are ready to go. A lot of earthquakes in Tokyo this morning. Soak. Okay, we've had the platform warming up. I'm really not sure if this is necessary now in midsummer. The temperature here is showing 30 degrees inside the room here. But we found that by also heating the table, it works really beautifully and smoothly. So even in summer, we're still doing this. There's the control. It's a hot carpet. We've got a hot carpet here on the table, and it is turned on. It is turned on. It's camera shake. If I go and look at the floor, the floor's too weak. the subfloor here is, it's a really, really old building, and the subfloor is totally broken up. The building should be condemned, but whatever, it's only a woodblock frame again, no trap, so. Okay, for those of you who haven't seen this before, what's going to happen now is I've got 30 sheets of paper here. I'm going to put glue on the front surface of them one at a time. That'll be a repeated 30 motions. Once the top surface is done, I'll be flipping the stack, putting it beside me, and I'll bring them back and I'll do the back side of the sheets. This will take altogether, I guess, about the first 30 minutes or first 40 minutes of the stream. Then the next step will be hanging it up, and for that we have to move to the next room, which will perhaps or probably involve temporarily closing the stream while I move the gear to the next room, and we'll then hang it up. I'm not sure about show and tell. I know we've got that book. Oh, I know. I was supposed to prepare that koitsu print for you. Okay, let's deal with that when we get to it. This is how busy we've been. Let's deal with it when we get to it. After hanging up, I will have to run downstairs to get that book. Okay, we'll do that, but I'll have to run downstairs. We are kind of busy right now. I'm telling you, we are kind of busy right now. Just insane. It's going to be insane. It's not getting any better, you know. It's just getting, I keep saying worse. I mean, it's business. It's okay. But my God. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. Okay, relax. Let's do this. 30 sheets, top side. All clear? Got the camera clear? Got this? Check. Looks good. Let's run. Let's roll, or whatever it is they say these days. Okay, the brush is now nice soft. This is a really, really super fluffy brush. It carries tons of glue. And the paper we're using this morning is our thinnest possible type. So there's a real danger this morning here of me overloading this paper. It's probably going to take me a minute or so to find the right wipe off. You can actually see that there, see? Okay, let's go. You didn't see that. Oops. I've got a fan running behind me and it's clearly not going to work. It's pushing onto the paper, so just a sec. Let me redirect it. The last couple of days for me here has been video preparation. Actually, when I say that, you might misunderstand. There's 2 videos currently in planning/preparation. Yesterday was supposed to be a full filming day for pretty much all the Mokuhankan staff. Cameron was planning to come down from his home in the countryside there. The rest of us were here. Susan was coming, Aoyam was coming, a whole bunch of us. We were going to do, en masse, we were going to do the YouTube unboxing video. Get up in the morning and it is pissing down. We knew it might rain, but whatever. It rained way, way more. We couldn't possibly do it. So we canceled. We've postponed that one. So the YouTube unboxing will have to wait, weather permitting and staff scheduling permitting. But the other video production has gone on. I've recorded most of my takes on Thursday night. I spent yesterday in the editing booth, otherwise known as my carving desk. And that's video episode 17 of the Great Wave series. It'll be coming. I got a couple more days work on it. There's lots and lots and lots of B-roll and photographs and scans and Ken Burns work and whatever. So it'll be a few days before you get that. Yeah, the fan it's pushing the other way. I was just trying to get it to go on my back, but it was drifting a little bit here, so no, we shouldn't have a fan obviously moving across the bench here, and we don't. As part of making that YouTube video, I did some I did some research. Good grief! I collected some stuff. I collected some data, and I learned some numbers that really, really, really surprised me. This will come up in a video. You'll see it in a couple of days in a video. But what we normally do, well, in fact, you can see this is the first stage of the process. 60 sheets of paper get sized. They go to the printer. The printer will throws on a few test sheets for lining things up and getting going, and it sends me back 60 sheets of paper. You've seen this when we open the packages. 50x of them will be fine prints, okay, 2 or 3 maybe corner cuts, something, whatever, blah, blah, blah. When we take those corner cut prints, or even ones that we didn't have the corners cut, we found that there was a problem with them. Maybe they were a test print, or there was a tiny bit of misregistration, or a piece of blue pigment got somewhere where it shouldn't, prints that are rejected. I throw them in a pile, but I don't just throw them in a pile. I've been a good boy over the years. I put them in a little envelope, bang. And inside the envelope, I scribble something. Yamamoto 2012, July, or whatever. I put the rough date inside that envelope. And I've been doing that since we first started making the Great Waves in 2015. So as part of making this video this weekend, the idea behind the video is, how are the blocks doing? Are they worn out? Can we still go? How many copies have we made? What's going on? Can we see this? So that's what this video is about. And as part of making it, I had to count. I went back to our sales figures, went back to the printer's payment figures, and went back to this stack of finished prints, of rejected prints. Turns out, altogether, that key block has been used, as far as we can count, about 2,400 times, at least. We've got 2,400 pieces of paper when we add up the test prints that are here, the prints we've sent out to customers, and the copies that are still in the no good pile. 2,400 sheets. And the interesting point about it is, we have curated data. That stack I've got of no good sheets, we've got dates on them. So we can put that whole stack, if we chose to, we could put it in line from session number 1 from 2015 right up until 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. When did we get the last batch? And we can see visually the wear and tear, what amount of wear and tear is visible on the paper sheets. Now this is data that just hasn't existed anywhere else in the whole history of ukiyo-e printmaking. There's no way any other publisher in the old days would have done that. They get a batch of prints, they sold them all. If they didn't sell them, it just get thrown away. Nobody's archiving stuff to figure out how much wear and tear is on the blocks. So this is a massive, really, really interesting data set. How many are in there? This is funny too. I hadn't noticed. I learned this number yesterday. We got these things. I got them in the envelopes, put them in order, found another one, took upside down, sorted them all out, put them up and down. It took me hours and hours and hours to go through this stuff because they were in different cupboards. Some of them were in the back of the party room. Some of them were in my bench in my room. They were all over the place. Only people had some from the early days. They sent them over for me. I've got in that stack, you'll see it in this video, I put the stack on the desk. There's 469 copies of The Great Wave. This is not our stuff for sale. This is 469 copies that Dave thought at that time shouldn't go into the market. There's some cheaty, there's a blue dot, it's a bit of registration, something is printed a bit too weak, the sizing was no good. I have the world's biggest collection of Great Wave prints. 469 sheets. World champion. Finally, something Dave is a world champion. we should get a gymnasium or something, lay them all on the floor and make that ratio. Somebody's put this 469 to 2400. That is the most embarrassing ratio in the history of printing. But that's not accurate because, as I said, the first 200 or so of those were fighting. I gave him to Mabisano, I no sky, do this, do that. He went ahead, brought me back at the first 100 sheets, totally against my wishes. So they went into this pile. So this is not just printer screw-ups. This is, the first 200 are me wrestling with Kubota-san and Umabe-san about what I wanted. And finally, they realized I wasn't going to pay them. There's going to be no work. They had to do what I wanted. So easily 200 and maybe more of that stack of 469 are not actually rejected copies in terms of they're no good. They're actually totally, beautifully, no problem, Great Waves. Just not what I wanted to publish. So the real ratio of printers, slip-ups, etc., is probably closer to whatever 250. It'll be about 10%, which is the industry average for what we do. If I'm sending work out to a printer and I want 100 sheets, and I need 100 sheets for some reason, I've got to send at least 110 sheets of paper. These people are human. The thing works that way. So that 469 will knock off 200 for screwing around, leave 269, and then 2,400 sold. This makes sense. Not 2,400 sold, I mean 2,400 made. In the core of the video, the question about are the blocks worn and are the prints, can we still make prints from them? But it's no secret, I can tell you already, you'll see it in the video. But yes, the blocks are quite substantially worn. 2,400 impressions, it's a lot of wear and tear on the blocks. So if you saw just the blocks, and I'll do this in the video, you will see close-up photos of the blocks, both from 7 years ago and from now, and looking at just the blocks, you'd think, oh my God, that's it, we are done, we're finished, there's no way we can continue with this. But then what I do next in the video is we look at some of those 469 prints. And there's no point, I can't show all this. So I took one from the Kickstarter campaign, I took one from 2017 when we did our last video about block wear, and then I took one from last week. So we took a really close up look at 3 prints and how much wear and tear is visible. Did I break my left arm? I'm not quite sure what you're seeing, I don't know. So someone's already asking, it's funny, get all the reject prints scanned and stuff. When I was recording the video the other night, was it Friday night? No, it was Thursday night. When I was recording it, I got to the point, speaking to the camera, where I mentioned this stack of 469 prints. And I forget what I said exactly in words, but it was something like, okay, stop. I know, those of you who are watching this video, I know what you're thinking. You want to see scans of these 469 prints. So, well, that's not practical, and obviously, actually, it would be too much data to process. So, what I'm going to do, and this is not going to happen tonight, tomorrow, the day after, but what we are going to do is this. The stack is 469, but in there, they're bundled lot by lot by lot. As I said, Yamamoto, July 2019. And in there, there's 3, 4, 5 prints. So we have 35 groups in there. So it makes no sense to scan 469, but it is possible that we could scan 35 prints. So that's sort of on our list now when we get the collection going a bit better. Whoever's working on the collection can go in there and we'll pick 35 prints that sort of have the same sort of feeling and tone and mood, with the idea being that how can we see differences in the carving and the wear and tear? And that would be practical. 35 of them, scanned or photographed, taking really good care to register them and line them up. And then away you go with the data set. So that is on, it's coming soon. Coming not soon. To a website near you. You can't scan the 2400. I don't have those. The 2400 prints are gone. They're out to customers. What I've got are the 469 rejects, plus a very few that we've kept as prime sample copies. It's quite a stack, you know. It's really, really funny to sit there and hold it in your hands and put it on your table and look at it. 469 copies of the same print. That's just so much fun. Is that a food warmer? Yes, indeed, it is. So here in Japan, they're sold as what was the pamphlet? They don't say food warmer in Japan. It's for a hotel, what do you call it? Hotel Viking. Hotel Viking. You put soup and stuff in it, of course, in a smorgasbord, whatever they're called in the Western states. I don't remember the name. Here in Japan, they're called Viking. Buffet. I can recreate the shot with 100 poets, and that was such a difficult shot. It's taken from the 4th floor of our apartment building into the parking lot on a windy day. We didn't think it was a windy day, but when you deal with 100 sheets of paper every day, it's a windy day. This is Great Waves. This is Chiharu Kawai-san's first batch of the Great Wave. So far, as I mentioned, we've had 3 printers, Numabe-san, Kuboto-san, and Yamamoto-san. Well, plus me, I did some in the very beginning. So we've had 4 printers. Well, mine were never sold, though, so we've used 3 Pro printers, and this is now Chiharu-san is getting this batch. She wants to get started Monday morning. Monday morning. So I am busy today and tomorrow. It's not just her, it's paper for Kubota-san, paper for City Taro. Today is a sizing day, and one of the hottest days on the year in a room up on the 3rd floor with a concrete ceiling. So I should try that. I should go upstairs and spray some water up there, see if it helps. Okay, here's sheet number 30. There's the second half. I need 60 sheets for her, so this is 30, but I'm not going to do all 60 together. They end up taking too long. They stick together. So here on the stream, we're going to do 30. That was the top, and now we go to the back. I don't need to wash the board because it's exactly the same location that the paper is going to sit, obviously. The paper now being wet is much, much softer. The laptop has to be floating, otherwise it will be smoking. We've got not only a hot table, it's summertime. This thing is running video cameras, compositing. That is one hot laptop. Did you notice though? I got a new keyboard cover. I should have waited for today and changed it. I got a new keyboard cover last week. The old one was just too warped. Yeah, there is a cover there, but this is a new one, so it's barely visible. Brand new one. I change my latex cover once a year, whether it needs it or not. You saw the news last night too, and I've been waiting for the chance to get my next generation laptop. This is a MacBook Pro from 2015, and it's doing okay for 6 years. It's doing fine, but I've been looking forward to the next generation, which has been now. It's rumored and rumored and rumored for the past few months. And the latest rumors said that we were looking forward to it in maybe October, November this year. But then the news from last night from Taiwan, from the factory where the chips are being made, it was really, really bad news. And I doubt I'll see my computer this year now at all. It's okay, we can wait. No hurry to get rid of my old friend here. Yeah, the covers, the modern ones are so thin and light, whatever. They're so thin and light, you barely can tell they're there. And this computer now, after 6 years, it's just brand new. I would never, ever, ever go without a keyboard cover again, ever. Oh no, the Taiwan problem isn't COVID. It's, there was a problem at the foundry yesterday. Major problem. If you Google, Taiwan chip making gas or something, it'll come up. I don't know, maybe it wasn't in the general news. I saw it in the computer news feed I watch. There's a massive problem at the chip foundry. So I followed a few threads last night after I heard about this. I thought, whoops, here we go. And I followed a few threads. And I learned a lot about this. This is actually it's about the biggest kind of problem they could possibly have. And it's not like gas, the air conditioning or something. This is gas. These are the gases that are used as part of the actual, making the wafers. There's different chemical formulas, and they're deposited in a gas mixture. And if the gas is contaminated, you've got contaminants on these wafers, and bang, you're done. You're done. So no rush, like as I said, it doesn't matter. There is a funny aspect to this, though, too. Yesterday, the idea about news, in my news feed, blah, 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 Apple, foundry problem, blah, blah, blah. I can imagine, Tim Cook's at the big desk there, and he gets the phone call, and okay, whatever. I mean, they have the budget, they can handle this, they can figure out what to do, there'll be delays and stuff like that. But also Friday, Dave is sitting there at his carving desk doing the video editing and stuff like this. And I get calls. Big CEO here. Call number 1. It's from our Ome workshop. They get a postcard from one of our suppliers, or not one of our suppliers, his daughter. Her father was suddenly hospitalized in June, and this was to let us know that the funeral arrangements are etc., etc., etc. And this was a supplier that we've been dealing with since, I don't know, 20 years, more than 20 years. It's the acrylic sheets that we use for our display stands. The guy who was making them for me, really super nice guy, running a little home workshop. His main business was doing windshields for cars for racers, people that do racing at the Fuji Speedway or whatever. They're in a stock Nissan or whatever, but they don't use the stock windshields inside because you're in a crash and glass where you go. So his job was making acrylic replacements for the glass windows in stock cars. And he was the only guy in the country doing this. And as a side business, when there wasn't any orders for a windshield or whatever, he did whatever. He made desk accessories and this and that and this and that. So he's been doing our acrylics, or the acrylics for our stands for, I don't know, for 20 years or more. And he's gone. It's okay, this is not like handmade washi. There are other people in the country who are bending and forming and shaping acrylic, so this is not going to kill us. But, it does mean we started scrambling yesterday. So. The other thing too is a bit heartwarming. The letter was written by his daughter, who would be maybe not my daughter's ages. She's like 30 or something like this, I don't know. And she said she's going to try and carry on his business. But then she also said, I haven't actually done this before, but I'm going to give it a try. So what can you do? So I wrote back to her last night politely, and the things you say, you have to say your father's died and stuff like this. And I told her I will stand by that for her. Please let us know when you're ready, and we'll give it a try. So. So this one's done, and then Aoyama-san comes down from upstairs. He comes in the door downstairs. I'm doing video editing, and he comes in the door, and I know his face. Aoyama-san comes in the door, and he's got this face. It's a certain twist that he's got in his face when the news is not good, and I'm like, okay, let me have it. What's going on? I giggle at him, and it's no giggling matter. It's the boxes. We have orders for boxes for our subscription prints. Our whole subscription model depends on having boxes and cases. And a month ago or so, the older elderly couple that we have been using recently to make these boxes, the gentleman went into hospital, and she said he'll be in for a month or so, then he'll be out. So we said, okay, no problem. We'll put our orders on hold. It's the summertime. We're a bit quiet anyway. So she says, good, good. But in the meantime, what we did was we found also another supplier. You can't, if your only supplier of boxes is an elderly couple in the 70s and they've started doing hospital visits, then the handwriting's on the wall. So without being awful or nasty or anything, we sourced up somebody else. And Aoyama-san's conversation with me yesterday was that, well, the alternate source we've got for boxes. And I said, yeah, good. How are they doing? He said, the woman phoned this morning. Her husband has just been hospitalized. He's expected to be in there for a month. And I said, no, wait, you told me that month. You told me that last month. He said, no, this is our alternate supplier. I can't laugh. I mean, I'm sorry, these are not, it's laughable in a distant sense, but so in a few hours, that's it. We lost our acrylic supplier and we lost our backup box supplier. So you know what's happening. He got on the internet and started searching here and there, and we haven't got it worked out yet, but we will now have to find another alternate box supplier. I couldn't make this up. If I made this up, you'd be just like, yeah, Dave, tell us another one. I am not making this up. I wish I was, and I could turn around and everything would be happy. So like the rest of the day, my little fold phone, it's on my desk, it's here, this damn thing. I do not want this. I want nothing to do with it. This sits here. And if it rings, now it only ever rings when there's trouble. The employees know, don't bother Dave, don't phone him. But every now and then, they have to phone me. So that's the way it's gone. When that phone rings now for me, it's trouble. We tried making our own boxes years ago. I used to. The initial boxes I sent when I was still a solo craftsman, I made them myself. And Aoyama-san, that's what he was first hired for. We've got entries in our Mokuhankan blog. No, the Round Table blog. There's entries like from 10, 11, 12 years ago. Aoyama-san came in here for the first day, and he and I were working on some boxes. Before I realized it just had to be outsourced. I can't be a printmaker and spend $1/4 every month making boxes for the prints. You can't do that. How's our time? 8:45. Okay, we're looking good on this. Getting through the back half here. Another 5 or 10 minutes we'll be done the back. We'll move over to the next room. I've been thinking about the show and tell. While I've been chatting with you, I've been thinking about the show and tell. The show and tell that I left hanging the other day was that Kyogo Zuri, hand painted by Tsuchiya Koitsu. And I really want to talk about that carefully, and I want to show you it properly. And there's no light here in this next room. So I'm thinking that what we should perhaps do is just punt that show and tell for next time. So just to give you a warning here, thinking about the best way to do this, to do the thing properly. Let's do this. I'll finish this moistening. We'll go through to the next room. I'll do the hanging, and I think we'll take a rain check on the show and tell, because I really, really, really want to show you that thing properly. There's so many secrets in that sheet of paper. Something about box suppliers. We tried a box supplier in the US when we started the portrait series back in 2014. It was our idea or Jed's idea, I don't remember. Maybe Jed one day said, I've got a friend, he's got a carpenter shop, he can make boxes for you, let's do it this way. And he made a batch for us, the first 50 or 60. We ended up throwing them away because they weren't suitable. But the idea was for customers who were in America, we make the prints here, we send them over there, and the box maker sends the boxes directly to the customer, avoiding international shipping, etc., etc. On paper, it seemed like a really cool idea. They were going to be done with a CNC component and then a laser component and blah, 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 blah. And we had a sample, and the sample looked sort of, wow, maybe we could do this. And we went ahead and ordered the first 50 or 60. We had to replace them all, every single one. We had to replace them with stuff from Japan. So. Outsourcing whatever. Story of my life. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Story of my life. Maybe all of us. This paper is nice. This paper is soft, it's absorbent, the sizing is going in as evenly. Oh, it's just wonderful. She is going to be in love with this paper when she gets it. It's important too, this is her first run at the Great Wave, and that set of blocks is a very difficult, funky set of blocks. So she wants no problems with the paper at all. As far as I can tell so far, it is looking very, very, very nice. Someone's comment here, whatever, the sickness and deaths of skilled elderly tradesmen is sad and problematic. You know, there's lots of different ways to look at this, and on the surface it does seem like, oh, it's so sad, you know, people who could do something really well are disappearing and now nobody else is doing this thing. But you've got to remember, you know, that society as a whole is making these decisions. If society as a whole still wanted those products, then those craftsmen would have had no problem getting apprentices and people to carry on their work and stuff like that. The reason it's disappearing is because the thing that they have chosen to make, even though it may have been very popular in their youth, is no longer needed by society. If you're, and this has nothing to do with modern life is evil, old life is good. If the product you have chosen to make isn't in demand, then, that's it. It's the old classical buggy whip, etc. story. So in that sense, it's just the way that things go. That's why here at our workshop, we've never, ever, and I mean ever since I've been doing this, we don't play on this thing like Dave is desperately trying to preserve the old tradition. We never talk like this. We try to make interesting products. We're having fun using old traditions, but the meaning in life for us or whatever is not to preserve the old traditions. If it turns out that using the traditions and talking about them and doing things creates demand for our products, then it lives as a matter of course. And you could be a bit cynical and say that those elderly men who are passing away with nobody to learn their craft, they just simply, you could say they didn't keep up with the times, or they chose not to keep up with the times, or they didn't have YouTube skills, or whatever reason you want to mention. But it's the normal way of things, I don't cry about that at all. I think 2 sheets left, maybe 2 or 3, I'm not quite sure. Hang on a sec. Okay, this is the last sheet, sheet number 30. So this is 1/4 of the way through my work today. This is half of the batch for Chiharu-san. And once her paper is done around noon, I'll be doing another batch this afternoon for Kubota-san, different size paper. But for now then, we've come to the end of part 1 of this stream. Those of you who have been with us before know what's going to happen. I have to move to the next room, and I can't move everything all in one go. So first step, over goes the paper. Back in a moment. Second step is going to be the camera. So the main camera is coming down here. And the warning, the stream may die. There's no way I'm going to be able to keep the internet connection active while I do this. So again, newcomers here, the stream is going to show blank or black screen or cannot connect, whatever. The chat should stay, and I will boot a new stream or pick up this one again in a couple of minutes. Okay, how am I going to do this? Let's take the camera first. Main camera going down. Okay, next step, we're going to try and move the computer. Cable's caught. Testing your color balance. Cable is caught again. There's got to be a rule of nature, you know. If a cable can catch, it will catch. There's that one tap. That was all it fucking needed. Are we okay? I think we're okay. I tapped it. The net connection. I just hit it with my finger as I moved by and down she went. Okay. I think we're okay, right? Talk about a funky stream. Okay. For those of you who don't know what's going on, this is what's about to happen. The paper is all on the deck that you just saw. I'm going to peel them off 2 by 2 and they are going to go up there, hanging on. I cannot show you both at the same time. The camera won't move any farther back than this. It'll move a little bit farther back. And we are now running on Macintosh battery power, so we're going to go on a countdown. Let's do this. Well, I have time to do this before the battery runs out. Normally there's an extension cord on the floor here. It is not here today. Somebody has borrowed it for something else, even though it has my name on it. I don't think we need that today. Here we go, and this of course is going up on those strings. I don't have enough cameras to show you the whole thing. Oh, disable one mic. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Who's that? Koringami. Hi, Echo, everybody. Okay, sorry. I can never remember all the different steps. I'm sorry. we have a little jig made. Today we're only using 2 of the clips. When we do wider paper, we need all 3 of the clips, and at that time I have a little piece of wood which we use to open all 3 clips. Today, because the paper is fairly narrow, I'm just using 2, and I don't need my 3rd hand. Up she goes. Battery 91. Are we going to make it? Battery 90. I don't know. Batteries look okay. They go slowly, 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 and then down they go all of a sudden. So we'll see. So because there are 30 sheets of paper here, there are 15 groups. This is group number 4. So there are 11 groups left. And battery says 90. I think we're okay. I don't know. I can't quite read the chat. It's a little bit too far away for me here. Battery 89. It's going down 1% per page. We're okay. Has anybody explained the deal here about the flipping and why we're doing 2 sheets at once? Okay, what we're seeing here, this is the back side of the sheet. Remember, we started with the front side of the sheet, did them all, flipped it over, did the back side. So these are now back side facing up. If I take the top sheet only, just 1 sheet, and flip it over, the top 2 sheets are now back to back. So the good printing surface is facing outwards. So when I take 1, 2 together now, these sheets are back to back, so they're actually not going to stick together. But if there was any inherent stickiness left in it, it wouldn't affect the perfect front side of the sheet, just the backs would get a little tiny bit marked up. We almost never see that anyway. When I take them down after hanging them up and drying them, they just separate easily. But just to mitigate any potential problem, they go up there back to back. Battery says 88. It's pleasant, peaceful work normally, you know. Here in the hot summer, it's kind of sweaty and not so much fun. But it's repetitive, it's smooth, it's peaceful. And the repetitive aspect is important, so you can get them all the same, one after the other, after the other, after the other. I don't know if we can see it. If I just hold up 1 sheet for you, I don't know if it's going to show the coating of liquid. I don't know. We need a light behind it. Well, now, is this flipped or not? What did I do? No. Yeah, John's got it. This used to be kitchen sink work back in Olmec. I didn't have the hotel food warmer. We had first I used a bucket at the first experiments. Then I used a paint can, which we not glazed, which I painted with special paint. Then the third tool was I used a hot plate with the glue in it. A tabletop on a hot plate thing. And then when it became clear that we were going to have to do this properly, we went out and looked for the professional warming tools. And no, it wasn't, as somebody mentions, it wasn't smooth and repetitive. And I think there's some pictures on my blog from back then that are downright embarrassing. And I think I should actually, we can't erase history, but I got to take down some of those pictures, or maybe at least put them side by side with contemporary pictures. There's some pictures of the early sizing experiments that are just embarrassing. How's our battery? It says 85. This is not bad, you know. This is a 2015 MacBook. But it's not the original battery. I was part of there was a battery recall a few years ago. So they took the Mac in and they gave me a refurb battery. Whatever that really means, I don't know. These bottom ones, they're just starting to stick together at the end. This is why I don't try and do all 60 sheets together. I do 30 first, and then 30 again. If I did all 60, they tend to start sticking together at the bottom. Maybe a real pro is really fast enough to handle this. I'm not. Battery says 84. $82. Haha, it's dropping in double figures now, or double, 2 at a time. If Cameron's in the States, Cameron's not in the States. What was this all about? I meant to ask you the other day, you know. Cameron is not in the States. Cameron is at home up in Moria. And someone asked him the other day, you know, when are you flying back or something? And he's like quite confused about this. Cameron is just normally working. He's off right now for the weekend. He doesn't touch our work Saturday or Sunday. So nobody is checking the order box today or tomorrow. But Cameron is just right there. He was going to come in on Friday to help with the video, the YouTube's play button video, but it was raining too much. Can I show this? I don't know. Let me dig around with the camera here. Can we show the smooth? I think you can see it. This is wet paper to show. Put it against the dark background here. This is a wet sheet. And in the early pictures I had on my blog there, you know, there was speckles and mess all over the place. But this sheet, you can see the way my hand shines through this. This sheet now is just beautifully, beautifully, smoothly moistened. This is your goal if you're trying this. This is your goal. Did I flip this one or not? I have no way to tell now. Bugger. And the last sheet, of course, is almost always stuck to the board here. So let's peel this off. Yeah, it is beautifully, beautifully, nicely moistened. Chiharu-san is really going to be happy. This is part of what makes this fun, you know, getting stuff done in a good condition to pass on to the next person in line. You know, when you screw up a bit, and this has happened before, the sizing has been too strong or something like this, then I've got to apologize to the printer and say, look, it's a bit too strong sizing this time, you know, give it a good pull, please. And then they're going to like, crap. But today, no such problem. This paper is beautiful. Okay, not airtight, no attempt to be airtight. We're going to close both doors in this room to try and keep the airflow to a minimum while this dries. Okay, there we are. There we are, there we are. I didn't flip, did I? Okay, whatever, no idea. All right, there we are. It's too early, but as I said, the show and tell, the current show and tell that's on our desk, that book I've got downstairs, is a beautiful, beautiful show and tell that I really want to take care showing you. There's no light here, there's no chance, it's chaos, I'm running out of battery. So let's just punt, I'm sorry, take a rain check on that show and tell. We'll just shut this down a bit early and I'll get busy with the rest of my work. So today is Saturday. I'll be back here 2 days from now, Monday morning, Sunday for you. And I'll be carving those rain lines on that little block downstairs, and then we will properly look at that Koitsu print. Okay, I guess that's it. There may have been comments, I'm sorry, I cannot see this far. John saying, I knew he was going to forget. I forgot something, did I? I don't remember, John, I'm sorry. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so there we are. Thanks, gang. Thanks for putting up with a bit of a funky stream here today, and I'll see you in a couple of days with some rain carving and a really nice, oh my God, it's so hot. See you next time. Bye for now. I can't put the camera outside. Is somebody going to walk by? Actually, if we get lucky, Ishikawa-san is due any minute here. Should we wait to see her walk by? Don't get me in trouble. Battery is at 79, we're good to go. Thanks very much. Oh, somebody's asked, do we keep the paper? Yes, we keep the humidity high, we dry slowly, the paper dries perfectly, absolutely flat. That's what this is all about. We want the paper to dry as slowly as possible. It'll be dry by tonight maybe, and it will be perfectly flat. Okay, bye for now guys. Thank you again. See you next time. Battery is 79. We made it.